Hello, I'm Bruce Zimmerman, and this is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week. Now, the AAS winners. This one is another tomato, and this is making me happy because there's lots of new tomato varieties to try this year. And this one is Valentine. Now, many years ago, Stoke Seeds grew a Valentine, which was an oxheart type. These are not. And even though they have the same name, they are very, very different. The bricks on this, in other words, the sweetness is 7 to 9, and that's pretty darn good. The color is deep red and will hold the taste and color on the vine without cracking or losing its flavor, which is all you really want. Not that these tomatoes will be on the vine very long, to be honest. Valentine is prolific. It'll mature at 55 days from transplant. That means it's a good one for early. So you want to really enjoy this one. The shape is meaty, and it's about like a Roma tomato, but smaller. More on the size of a grape, okay? Now we're talking large grape. It is a national winner, and I think you'll find that this one, because of the sweetness, will compare with some of the sweeter cherry tomatoes. It's been bred by Johnny Select Seeds, and it's not really sweet. We're not talking sweet, but we're not talking regular. Sort of in between. Full sun, normal watering, a warm season, and yes, it does require staking. It's a green leaves, vining habit, requires staking. Its height's going to be 6 feet. Okay? So you better be able to pick at 6 feet. Dark red fruit, oblonged. The fruit size is 1.5 by 3/4 of an inch wide and weighs only 0.7 ounces. Its flavor is rich, sweet, and actually tastes like tomato. Number of fruit per plant, 100 or more. Right there is a good reason just to grow it. Garden spacing is 2 feet. Days to harvest from sowing seed is 85 days, so it's not too bad. But you want to go from transplants at 55 days because you want to start eating tomatoes as soon as possible if you're like me. Plant spread is only 2 feet. Disease resistance or tolerance, it has an intermediate resistance to early blight, which is always a really good thing. Okay? Sow this one indoors and transplant out after danger of frost is past. You'll find it does like a warm soil, and it will give you that high yields. It is high in lycopene, which is a good thing. It's supposedly good for you as well as tasting good. And it does do well and post-harvest shelf life. That's good. In other words, you can sit them on the counter and they're fine for quite a while. And of course, they do, like most of the cherry tomatoes, occur in trusses. So a lot of the judges really liked this one, and they just went crazy when they could just keep eating fairly early, but all the way into late summer, and was producing really nice tasting tomatoes. Now, the next one I'd like to do is actually a zinnia. And zinnia, now this one is interesting in the fact that it's called Queenie Lime Orange. Now, it's the 2018 AAS Flower winner, and it is a wow type of effect in the garden. The reason is that it sort of looks like a large dahlia bloom on a very compact plant. And I think what you'll find, the color evolves from dark coral, peach, orange, to a light peach with a darker center in the flowers with age. So in other words, you're getting a variety with age on flowers. And of course, if you have more than one set of flowers on a plant or in a drift, etc., then you're going to have slight variations in color at all times. I think you're going to like this one because it's also good for cut flowers, and it is prolific in its blooms. The flowers are going to last up to 3 weeks without preservative or anything in the water. That's pretty good. I like that one. In other words, they're going to last and stand up in the garden as well as in the vase. So take a look at Queenie Lime Orange Zinnia. Now, like most zinnias, it likes full sun, dry to normal, and after it's established it's drought tolerant. Deadheading is recommended, but staking is not. If you keep deadheading these, you're going to get a lot more consistent flowering as well. Even though they're long flowering, you'll find that you will get even more. Foliage is a green. It's upright, of course. Its height is 1.5 to 2 feet, so it's fairly tall. You're going to have to pick your spot. Bloom time is summer till frost. Again, the colors are lime, yellow, peach, salmon, and orange. And the bloom size is 2 to 4 inches. That's big. If you can get them up into the 3 to 4 inch range, that would be huge. It is pollinator friendly. It is drought and heat tolerant. The garden spacing is 12 inches. And the best way to use this one as a cut flower, or because of the height, you'll find that it's not a bad one as a low divider, okay, between different types of plants, different colors, etc. in the garden. So particularly if you've got a clash, it could be used as a transition color because of its many colors and tones in there. Consistently double, which is always good, a good pollinator in the garden. Now let's talk about another tomato. I told you I really like tomatoes. The 2018 AAS Edible winner in vegetables, there is another tomato. I told you it was going to be a great year for tomatoes. Cocktail Red Racer. Not eraser, racer. This is a cocktail-sized tomato. So it's got a small uniform fruit with good flavor. Its sweet and acid balance is good. That's what you really want in a cocktail type tomato. It's very uniform in its size and it has clusters. It's determinate and produces 7 to 10 days earlier than most other cocktail tomatoes. So it's a little earlier, and that's excellent. Now, what you'll find is that it was bred by Earthwork Seeds and distributed by Garden Trends Wholesale. And it is a national winner, so that means it grows well everywhere. Now, it's annual, of course, needs full sun. Watering needs is normal for tomatoes. It does like a warm season, no surprise, it's a tomato. It does not need staking, though if you're finding they're getting a little stretchy, if you're in a warmer, hotter season, you may want to cage it. The plant itself is compact and determinate, and it's supposed to be 3 feet. So it could get to that point where you want to cage it. Color is red. At harvest time, of course, the fruit's round. It's about 1.5 inches in diameter and weighs about 2 ounces. It's got a classic tomato flavor. and it produces about 60, 70 fruits per plant. Now, it will go into containers. They're going to have to be fairly large containers. The spacing is 2 feet. The days to harvest is 90. So that's from seed to harvest, 90 days. But if you're going from transplant, it's only 57. Not bad. Plant spread's 2 feet. Here's one of the great things you're going to like about this tomato. Disease resistance and tolerance to verticillium, fusarium, strains 1 and 2, nematodes, tomato mosaic virus, gray leaf spot. So in other words, got lots of good things about growing tomatoes and all the problems you're going to get. This one's going to be great for homeowners because it's going to be good in small places, containers, compact plants. I think you're going to find that this one could be caged and growing on patios and decks as well. Lots of tomatoes in that particular case. Now, those are the ones that I think you're going to really enjoy. I hope you try them, and I hope that they're available to you. I'm Bruce Zimmerman. This is the Open Line Garden Show podcast for this week.